Thank you very much, Delia. I forgot to introduce myself at the beginning, but I'm Shabbir. I'm an officer of the Stop the War Coalition, and you'll all have seen the headlines around the situation in Ukraine, and I thought it was important that we come here today to bring our solidarity. And what we're seeing in Ukraine is, with the Russian invasion, is horrific, and we send our solidarity to the people of Ukraine. In recent weeks, those of us who have argued against war have been under sustained attack from the government, from the Labour leadership, from the media. So for those who are determined to misrepresent Stop the War's position, let me reiterate in clear terms what we have said, and that is that Russia is wrong and that we call for the withdrawal from Ukraine. In addition to this, we recognize the role of NATO in creating this crisis. Anyone who claims that criticizing NATO is equivalent to support for Putin, or who pretends that NATO is blameless, deliberately wants us to view this situation in isolation and forget the aggression and the expansionism of NATO, to forget that it was NATO that ravaged Afghanistan and Libya, to forget that it was NATO countries that destroyed Iraq and Syria, that it is NATO countries that are facilitating the destruction of Yemen, and that it is NATO warships that are currently patrolling the Mediterranean Sea to stop refugees from crossing. And it was NATO, in contravention to the promises made in the 90s, that has routinely expanded throughout Eastern Europe. And to say this is not whataboutery or equivocation. It is recognizing that NATO's actions, its existence as an imperialist organization, which was created to maintain US and its allies' control in the world, has paved the way to this moment. These things are not separate. A CNBC reporter yesterday exclaimed that this is happening in Europe, in a civilized place, not like Afghanistan and Iraq. The same people praising those who are taking up arms in Ukraine are the ones who justify the brutal oppression of the Palestinian people for throwing stones. The Polish far-right government says it will gladly, with open arms, accept Ukrainian refugees while Iraqi and Afghan refugees freeze to death on its borders. This is a mass operation in trying to manipulate our solidarity with Ukraine and our righteous condemnation of Russia, to forget and to justify racist imperialist actions of our own government. And that's why it's important today on this demonstration against the Nationality and Borders Bill, which will further criminalize refugees and which will stop Ukrainian refugees from getting here, and will be used by our government to violate international law in pushing them back. Because this bill, together with the police and crime bill, will be used to criminalize our right to protest against their warmongering. For those of us who dare to speak out, who are ethnic minorities, we are threatened with deportation. Already, a Tory MP has said that the Treason Act needs to be updated for people like us. And so let us bear witness this hypocrisy. And I stand in awe with the Russian anti-war activists who are taken to the streets to protest their government. But while our government praised those over there, while our government praised those over there, they demonize anti-war activists here. So let's be clear in our solidarity with Ukrainian people, in our opposition to war, and in our opposition to our government's draconian policies aimed at curbing our civil rights with this draconian legislation. On Wednesday evening, Stop the War has a rally at Conway Hall. I hope to see everyone there, and I hope to see everyone on the streets next Saturday for the People's Assembly demonstrations, because this is all connected, and we have to bring the kind of mass resistance that can stop our government, stop their war on the working people of this country, and on their war on the people abroad. Solidarity.